Hello, everyone. Something happened to me just recently that reminded me of some things that bring such clarity and such of a sense of relaxed and focused control to the things in my life. And I thought I'd share this story with you because I think it's quite telling and hopefully a little bit inspirational in terms of the basics, really, of the work that we do. In a nutshell, what's going on is I'm working on some financial planning. This is in my personal life, so with my sister and with my parents. And it's been something we've been working on for several weeks. It's got a lot of my energy, a lot of my attention. There's quite a bit to do, right? There's a lot of information to gather and a lot of conversations to be had, etc. But one of the things that occurred to me, I was having over the weekend, I was having a moment where it just felt it was bordering on fraught, the amount of things that were going on. And what I realized was that I had not really clarified what the finish line looked like for all of this. Okay, so those of you who are experienced GTDers will recognize the expression, what's my desired outcome, right? What does done look like? What's the finish line look like? Now, this is a big enough project that there are a lot of moving parts. So it wasn't just a single outcome. There were a number of outcomes. And as I sat down with a piece of paper, and it took me a couple of drafts, right? It took me, probably 20 minutes or so by the time I'd gotten it to the point where I thought, okay, there we go. That's a really good set of outcomes. But as I completed that, as I got to the point where I had that in front of me, it occurred to me that, those of you who are experienced GTDers, you might be saying to yourself, well, come on, Todd, that's GTD 101, right? That is kind of, identifying desired outcomes is at the core of a lot of what we recommend. And you'd be right, of course, right? But I think part of this is just in the day-to-day, sometimes we lose track of and we fall out of some of the most important habits. And what was really interesting was, as I was completing that sort of third draft, right, that pretty good draft, I think, that I'm ready to share now with my parents and with my sister, I could feel two things happening. One, I had a sort of a sense of inspiration and, okay, this is what we need to do. This is what done looks like. So there was momentum that came from that, right? These are the finish lines that we're headed toward. But the other thing that happened was I could feel myself relaxing about all of that, right? It had really been, for a pretty good chunk of the weekend, it had been occupying an awful lot of my mental space from time to time. And I'd been, doing what we call in GTD capture. I'd been writing thoughts down. I'd been doing some of the best practices. But I'd been doing that sort of at the tactical level, and I hadn't really, upped my perspective to the level of what we would call outcomes. So it was just a reminder for me of the fact that, the core principles of this work, they don't change, and they're also incredibly valuable. And from time to time, it's not a bad idea to ask yourself some of those fundamental questions, right? As things occur to me and as things come to me in my life or come toward me in my life, am I capturing them? Am I gathering all of my open loops? Am I clarifying those things? So am I making decisions about what these things mean to me? Am I documenting those decisions in some sort of a way that means that, okay, I've got this in my organizational system so that I can be sure I'll be reminded about it when it's helpful to be reminded about it? Am I reflecting on the things that I could do in any given moment? And then am I making good choices, ultimately, about what I'm focused on day to day? Again, that's all core GTD stuff. And even, speaking personally now, even those of us who've done this for many, many years and, decades in my case, from time to time, I need reminding. Sometimes in my seminars, I'll say to the group, look, I do this work, number one, because I really enjoy it and believe that it's valuable, absolutely. But number two, because I need the reminders. I need to go back to the core ideas and really sort of not take my practice for granted. I hope that was helpful. Our theme, by the way, and I think this is in keeping with what I've just talked through. Our theme in the podcasts and the blogs and the video blogs we're doing this quarter is the melding of high performance on the one hand and well-being on the other. Okay, particularly in the area of team working. Okay, and this is among other things an acknowledgement of the new book. And if you have not heard about this, please do look it up. The latest book in the Getting Things Done series is called Team: Getting Things Done with Others, and it was co-authored by David Allen and by my business partner here in the UK and Ireland, Ed Lamont. So if you are interested in more ideas about effective team working and how teams can work effectively, and by the way, the example I've just given you, I very much view as a team, right? You wouldn't think of my sister and my parents maybe as a team, but hey, it's a group of people who are trying to get something done. That's a team. If you'd like to hear more from us, please do, as always, like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as well, if you have any ideas about things you'd like us to discuss in our output, in our podcast, etc., then please do let us know. Please drop us a line. We very happily take requests. I hope that was helpful, and I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.